Hello.
Hey now.
Welcome everyone to today's show. Man, I gotta say we'll get into more. There's a reason why I picked that as the intro. But they didn't need to go that hard on that intro. Like,
Come on.
I love it. I love
I
it.
am glad they did. I remember as a
Yeah.
kid, that intro blew my fucking mind.
The
Yeah.
guitar riff,
Definitely
and then
a
you,
top 10 intro, like
Yeah.
music wise.
and then you
I
think
put
it's
it up
over.
there with Battle of the Planets.
Yeah. Then you think it's over, and Mumra's part comes on. And, greatness.
I mean, I feel like the only song that trumps that is the intro theme to Mask, which even to this day fucking slaps. So
I guess maybe in the future.
I have a list of
we
like
should
my
do
favorite,
a list episode of intros.
because like Power Rangers is a jam. I think honestly, I think going back to like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And like the Jetsons theme song is amazing.
Super Friends.
Super Friends.
I mean, that's just, you put that on as soon as you like step out of the shower in the morning, and it's just like your day is ready. It's great.
Honestly, if they played like cartoon themes at like a workout place, then I would be more interested in working out.
Right,
Can you imagine lifting weights to like Superman or something like that? You know?
The He-Man intro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh man, so good.
Nice.
So good.
X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 has got a great intro.
I wonder what they're gonna do for the new cartoon. I wonder if they'll update it or if they'll just change.
I feel like you have to update it, but you keep the music.
You know, like when Reading Rainbow came back and they just got Shaka Khan to do it. So Shaka Khan.
Exactly.
Who's the Shaka Khan of our era?
Who's the Shaka Khan?
Okay. No, but like for the new
Shaka Khan.
I don't have that on my show meeting notes. Who is the Shaka Khan? I did not prepare for that question.
The question of the week, we'll put it out to the people. Who is the Shaka Khan of this generation? Let us know down in the comments.
Jesus, I wouldn't even have any clue. I don't know any musicians anymore.
Yeah, me either. I'm so out of touch.
I just know the one that took over the theaters this weekend, so it's really just Taylor Swift, and that's it. So if you want to go see the Eras tour, if you're at the Eras tour instead of watching this, I completely understand.
Yes.
Actually, ideally be at the movie and watch this at the same time. That's what we hope for.
I guess.
When does that movie review come out on the channel, Dan?
You know,
hey, I am gonna hit the Eras tour movie as soon as I can.
Same. I don't know that I'll go to the theater because I feel like the demographic of people going to the theater, I'm gonna be a little weird just being like there. Like,
but
I'll be the weirdo there, but I'll be with my wife. So
either that you need to do that or plan like a boys trip together, like everybody like get a gang, So boys trip to the Eras tour.
The bachelor party night out at the Eras tour.
That's right. All right. On today's show, we're gonna be getting into some and New York Comic Con is currently going on. As you can see, none of us are there. But we're still gonna talk about it. There's a lot of announcements. There's more stuff being announced today. This is the one time of the year that I do wish we still broadcast on Sunday. Because more like a lot of because there's no big movie in TV news, like a lot of the big comic book stuff is going to be announced today. I know Marvel teased out a few things yesterday, which we'll probably still get into it a little bit. But we do have to start on a bit of a more somber note. Unfortunately, over the week, we heard that comic creator Keith Giffen passed away. Now, before we have some Clay gathered some reactions from people and some like tweets or skeets or whatever of people talking about Keith Giffen and his influence in the industry. But let's kind of go around the room first and just talk about some of your favorite stuff from Keith Giffen. Josh, I'm gonna throw it to you because you have a book by your side. So
this news really hurt. I love Keith Giffen. I would even say he was formative for me. When I discovered the Ambush Bug limited series, which was just on the spinner rack at like, the Five and Dime near my house, I felt like for the first time, I mean, I'd always loved comics up to that point, but for the first time, I felt like this is a comic for me, right? It was my humor. It was, it was acerbic. It played with conventions of comics. Like it was revelatory. And it sounds weird to say because it's fucking Ambush Bug, but it was so great. I loved it so much. And I became an immediate fan. And so I know there's so much that the Giffen did in the industry. Legion of Superheroes, all that stuff. But please, if you've never read Ambush Bug, just go track down this showcase volume. It basically puts everything except the most recent series that came out in like 2010, I think. It's been a while, but anyway, really, really great. And I think also one thing about Giffen that's not as talked about as much is how much of a like as somebody in the industry, he was actively looking for new talent. Mm-hmm. Go track down interviews with Colleen Duran, who was a very close friend of Giffen, about how he essentially was the way that she got into the industry, and just a total gentleman. I mean, just a great guy, a huge loss. So
yeah, we'll see from the reactions. But Clay, what about you? What do you on Pete Giffen? What's your stuff?
Well, I mean, he created Rocket Raccoon, is just like one of my favorite characters. I mean, so it was tough to hear. I mean, he wrote comics that like his Justice League run is just one of the most influential, because it was taking this team. You had typically seen these superhero teams come together. They either do the trope of fighting each other, then working together, or they just come together to solve a problem. But with Keith, it was like the interpersonal relationships that were the conflict. It was either Booster and Beetle being great friends and having great dialogue together, or it was Batman versus Green Lantern. Everyone knows the punch. The punch issue is one of the greatest issues of Justice League, because Batman knocks out Guy Gardner and everybody's floored by it. Everybody's floored by it. He wrote Annihilation, which is the bringing the Marvel Cosmic together. And that's, as much as I kind of rail on event books, that's what I go back and reread, because I kind of love his take on the space opera. And what was the last one I was saying? I went through my inventory because I was like, I wonder how many books I have by Keith Giffen. I had 75 books, and that's like trades and comics. So, because I know I have the trades on his Justice. I have the issues on his Justice League run, and then he did a couple that were minis. I can't believe this is or what's the title, Josh? I can't believe this is Justice League. I don't want to have to roll over there and grab it.
I can't remember that one.
Yeah,
I believe it's not butter.
Yes, it's kind of like that title. But yeah, it was. I was seeing comics from a different angle every time I was reading his books.
Gotcha. Okay, Jeff, what about you? What's your Keith Giffen stuff?
I don't know who he is. No, I'm just kidding.
Keith Giffen? Who's that?
Giffen, yeah, he was a record producer. No, in all honesty, I've not read a ton of Giffen. I have read the Justice League stuff, and at the time, because I was alive back then, I just remember it being like, comics can be about superheroes and funny, and like it was kind of eye-opening, because also at that time there was kind of a real pivot to match the Batman Year One, kind of go dark and gritty. So it was a nice pivot, because he was doing something completely different than what the growing trend in comics was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've read and then the I can't believe it's Justice League, and I think there was another mini like I still can't believe it's not Justice League after that or something like that.
This
I've
doesn't
read
taste like Justice League.
yeah, exactly.
Right,
We
right.
kept going.
Justice League fat free, zero.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I definitely enjoy it. And I've always kind of meant to go back and pick up some more stuff, but there's a lot to read in life.
Okay. Hold on one second. I was gonna private message this to Josh, but I'll just tell him if you're gonna type, can you mute the microphone so we don't hear?
Sorry. I'm trying to ask Kevin Smith on Threads a question about. I've always thought the Clerks poster was directly inspired by Maguire's Justice League cover.
Oh, okay.
It's the same pose. And usually I wouldn't, but knowing what a big comic nerd Kevin Smith is, and anyway, sorry, I was sitting here thinking, shit. I guess.
Finish your question. Get us that live news.
All right, I'll try, but I will mute. Sorry.
I was gonna type it, but I was like, no, this would be funnier if I just wait until him. All right, just real quick for Keith Giffen. I mean, the same as you guys for sure, but I think so. When I got into comics in the new 52, they did something called, and like on the second or third wave, they did something called Justice League 3000, which was like, let's somebody in the future, like it was going to hell, and they're like, we need heroes. So they remember the heroic age. So they kind of clone all the Justice League members, but they came out wrong. Like there was something off about each one of them. Like, Superman, he had the powers, but he didn't have the what makes him Superman, like his values. The Flash couldn't control his powers very well. So I read that, and it was with oh boy, the artist's name just escaped me.
So wait a minute, he created Superman without his values. Isn't that just Zack Snyder's Superman?
I have to go back and read it. Maybe that's what Zack Snyder read. Maybe. But yeah, I really liked it. It was a really funny book. It focused a lot on that, but also the superheroics were a lot of fun. So that's kind of where I stand. Now, the industry, of course, they were also shocked by it. And this is kind of where... So I read this skeet from Chris Conroy as well, who's an editor over at DC. And then Neil Gaiman replied because, of course, I think Keith Giffen is from the UK, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I didn't think so.
I don't know.
Is he?
Yeah, because he's
I thought
like
he was
AD, 2000 AD, and all that. Those.
No, he's from New York. He's from Queens.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
I thought he was from over there just because of all the work that he did, and the people that he kind of worked with too. Huh. So Charles Soule responding as well, but let's just go through some of these. Brian Keene. Now, who is Brian Keene?
He's a horror author.
Okay.
He's written some comics too.
Yeah, gotcha. We have Al Ewing. Yeah.
I love that he remembered something so specific as a page from his entire run of work.
Son of Ambush Bug.
That's in here.
We have Mark Waid as well.
Yeah, God, just it's so nice that somebody so influential and respected was also just a really decent fucking human being.
Now you can see that Mark Waid won't change his update his Blue Sky profile, but he took the time to go in and say something. That's how important this was.
Yeah.
We have Tom Payer.
Doom Force. God, I forgot about Doom Force.
I know, and I love that we have that 90s cover, but he still wanted to put his own twist on it.
G. Willow Wilson.
Yeah, this one is the one that really got me because it seemed like she had gotten her career from her interaction with him.
Yeah.
Greg Rucka as well, who, like, a lot of these people, you don't see them online a lot, and the fact that they took the time to write something.
There's Colleen. Yeah. God. That hurts.
And then here's some iconic stuff. I mean,
it's so great.
Who hasn't?
I really wish that we would get this version of the Justice League in the next iteration in the movies.
I mean, with what's his face helming it?
James Gunn. It gave me a little bit of these vibes. We have a few of these guys already in the roster, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be shocking if yes.
I pulled that just for Josh.
This was the first issue I ever read of Ambush Bug, because I didn't get issue 1. I think this is issue 2. Or that might be 1 actually. And just you get to the end and Darkseid is there. And I swear to God, I was standing at the spinner rack at this 5 and Diamond, Alabama, where I was at the time, and I'm just laughing so hard that I think people were worried about me because
I mean, this could have even tied into the most recent Loki.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Neil Gaiman, Paul Levitz. Paul Levitz is an editor, I believe, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then this came from the family of Keith Giffen. To kind of close out, this was posted on Facebook, which is exactly how Keith Giffen would want to be remembered. So
yeah,
I know that's such a great bit. Like to go out with the joke.
God.
So yeah, thank you for all the comics.
Like his Legion, like he wrote that 5 years later run of Legion, and I had never read Legion, and that was I could get into it from that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there was something as well. I was such a fan of his in the 80s that after he did the run in Ambush Bug, and kind of in between Ambush Bug and when he wrote out The Heckler and he was working on Legion, his art style had this really dramatic shift. And it's talked about a lot as well because he worked on Lobo for a while. And that style specifically he had in Lobo, there was a lot of kind of industry hubbub because it looked a lot like this other artist. And Giffen just came out and said, you know what? Honestly, I think I just like internalized it. I love that artist. I looked at their work and then it influenced me, but I didn't mean to do it. I was just doing it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just nice to have someone that honest and forthright. And we've lost him. So
he did the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas. Which is one of the best standalone Lobo issues. It's Lobo and Santa, and someone adapted that as a film that you can find online.
Oh wow!
I have a copy on my hard drive. If you guys can't find it, and we'll watch, I'll throw it up in chat or something. But yeah, like the Lobo voice is Keith Giffen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. Well. Next, we're gonna move on to our previously on segment where we'll just kind of go around and talk about some of the stuff we've been reading, watching, doing, playing. I don't know. I don't really play games. I should play games. I just bought a stupid game.
What'd you buy?
No, I mean I haven't played a lot of Mortal Kombat, which I could play.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah, that unboxing, man, you got a lot of cool stuff with that.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, that was definitely worth it. More than some of the other garbage I bought before. But Clay, I'm gonna throw it to you. Why don't you kick us off because you got a lot of spooky stuff on your list. And also
I got some wild horror movies. First, I'm gonna start at the bottom. The worst movie I watched this week was Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. Jesus, what a turd! Just the worst adaptation of that video game I've ever seen, with the worst special effects. And I mean, you're really just going for the zombies and the kills, right? You're not there to see some sort of great story development. And God, who's the guy that plays Dum Dum Dugan?
God,
yeah.
I forget his name. He's also one of the bad guys in Legends. He's in it, and they morph him into some big monster from Resident Evil. There is a scene that looks like they just used Photoshop to paste a 2D version of his face on a monster that looked like it was made in 1997. It's just it's on Netflix. Avoid at all cost.
I will say the only thing I saw from that movie was this really weird dance sequence, which I was like, all right, that's fun. And that's it. That's all I needed to see.
Is it Morbin time?
It's not as good as Morven Time, but I think it's Morven Time's vibes for sure.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
really?
All right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Next up is the Netflix reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, Daniel and I discussed this a little bit because there is a cool death scene. If you watch this for anything, it's the kills. But honestly, another turd that didn't need to be called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This could have been any other bad guy, but they make it Leatherface for no reason whatsoever. And I think it was supposed to be a prelude to a real Leatherface film. But it's just a bunch of influencers who buy a ghost town and they're selling off spots. But you know, Leatherface lives in one of the houses with his mother. And havoc ensues. You know, I will say there is a scene on a bus that has some of the best kills, and that's pretty much worth watching it. After you've seen that, you can just turn it off. You're not missing anything else. Revisited Sleepy Hollow in Tim Burton's time period. And
how did that stand up? I saw it way back when it came out.
Yeah, I kind of was like, I don't have really an opinion on this, so let's rewatch it. And I kind of feel like they wasted Christopher Walken. Like, he doesn't say a word in it, but you've got Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci running around. It's great to see Miranda Richardson again. I mean, it's got all the cool pieces in place, and it's got that Tim Burton look. You know, if you want to spend some time in that world, it's pretty neat adaptation. Well, it's not even really an adaptation because he changes Ichabod Crane into a police investigator, and but he's kind of scared, but he's not. You know, I don't know why you need to call it Sleepy Hollow other than you have a headless horseman in it.
Well, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the TV show. I was like, man, that's a lot of episodes because that went on forever.
I will say that first season of Sleepy Hollow, the TV show, was great. Those two had chemistry. That was a really fun show. And then one of the characters left, and you're just like, you can't get that chemistry back. And they kept trying to make the show work. It was one of the few times Fox kept a show on that should have been canceled.
They didn't Fox this one up.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, here's a little. Yeah,
don't patronize me, Josh. How dare you?
we all know who wrote the theme to the first Ghostbusters. Who wrote the theme to the second Ghostbusters?
Shaka Khan?
Nope.
I honestly didn't know Ghostbusters 2 had a unique theme. Like the song that plays
Bobby Brown?
Bobby Brown on there? Yeah, he's
oh my god!
I was like, whoa!
Wait, he's in the movie? Who's in the movie?
There's a scene where the Ghostbusters are going by, and he runs into him and has a little exchange.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 are great. They're always worth revisiting and fun. Saw Amityville Horror 1 and 2. The original Amityville Horror that has Thanos' dad and Lois Lane in it. As Josh is the only old person here who gets those references.
Yeah.
James Brolin and Mario Kidder are the parents who have moved into this house. Now, a lot of people have seen this particular story has been redone 3 times. It's about the family that moved in after a family had been killed in this home. So this is the Lutz family. And they claimed with Ed and Lorraine Newman, who are the stars of the Conjuring movies, that this house was haunted. All this, bad stuff had happened to them. But all the Ed and Lorraine stuff is always fake. They've faked all these stories for years, but now they're like a film franchise that people somehow believe, all this stuff was real. The first one is great. The second one, it's a little incesty, I guess. Is that a word?
It is now.
Yeah. The second one is weird because the second one has Burt Young as the father figure in it, but he's like a mean and nasty dad who like beats the family and stuff. And it's based on the murder that really happened in real life. The son kills everyone in the family. And so it's the story leading up to that. But because The Exorcist had come out at the time, this is the Amityville to The Possession So he's possessed by a demon. And I really kind of hate that take when they're telling real stories about real people that died.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it cheapens it because you're profiting off of murder. A real family was killed, and they kind of turned it almost into this cartoonish thing. And there's just some really uncomfortable closeness between the brother and sister in this film. But the great Diane Franklin's in it, and I'm a big fan. I love her. My favorite movie this week, No One Will Save You, on Netflix. It's on
Hulu.
Oh my God. It's about an alien invasion. And then I'm not going to tell you anything else. If people are into it, check it out, because anything I talk about, I'll want to get into and give it all away. But I love No One Will Save You. It is such a fun, scary movie.
I'm adding it to my watch list right now. Here we go. It's on there.
And then I picked up a movie because it said, if you liked No One Will Save You, you'll like this movie, Gone in the Night. And it had Winona Ryder in it. So I was like, I'm on board. And I dug it. And it's, again, another one I'm going to blind recommend. Gone in the Night with Winona Ryder is a great pick, because you will not guess what the hell is happening in this movie by the time you get to the end.
Interesting.
Nice. Let's go back around and we'll come back to the rest, Clay, if you want.
Okay.
All right. Josh, I know you have a big pile of stuff, but I know you read some stuff.
I mean, there's a huge gulf between what I own and what I've read. But stuff I've read this week, it was very, again, in the spirit of what Clay did, is a very spooky Halloween kind of week. But first off, before you do, I know I wasn't here last week and you guys talked about it, but I finally read Transformers #1. I liked it. Okay. It is Danny Warren Johnson, so of course the art is great. The story is compelling and fun. I think there are just a couple of like very minor plot hole things that kind of bugged me. So all right. And maybe this gets explained later, and if so,
it's talking robots, I'm gonna slap you. Why
are they robots? I don't understand. No, it's okay. So the now, first off, Jetfire in this that links us back to Void Rivals, right? Because wasn't Jetfire on the planet? Yeah. Okay, so
that happens before this issue,
right? Okay, so. Yeah. That was cool. I like this Energon universe that they're building, but the machine gets activated and starts bringing them all back and changing them to fit into Earth society. All right. And then there's this key moment where, and this is me being nitpicky, I know that, there's this key moment where Optimus Prime, like, they're outnumbered. So he says, wait, there should be a trailer around here. How the fuck does he know what an 18-wheeler is? Like, this is what I can't figure out. They are just woken up on Earth, and somehow he knows that he is one half of a machine. Like, I don't know. It's that kind of stuff that bugged me, and I shouldn't think too hard about it because it's fucking Transformers. But
I agree with the Transformer.
God damn it, Mark.
It's either that or Michael Bay. You pick.
Yeah. But that aside, like, I love the fact that the basic structure of this is just the first couple episodes of the cartoon. I mean, and the thing I really love about that is just thinking back to being a kid obsessed with Transformers and G.I. Joe. But Transformers in particular, that opening story is just rock solid narrative, right? It is just aliens crash on Earth, right? They don't have enough energy. There are two fighting factions, but that's all set up in just the structure of that first episode. And to Johnson's credit, he's like, yeah, that's good. Let's just go with that, right? I did also want to point out, I fucking love this panel over here where they go into the quarry and just like Jetfire's like flames coming off of him like illuminate the quarry. Just such a great panel. Anyway, lots of fun. I'm definitely hooked, and I'm in. It was just that one little plot point that bugged the hell out of me. Other things, I absolutely had to read Capwolf and the Howling Commandos. Anyone else read this?
No, I didn't know it was out.
Yeah, so issue 1 came out. It's just a lot of fun. It's Stephanie Phillips, so great writer. It's a lot of fun. Kevin, this is kind of a dick, and I'm here for it. Like he's there's like one moment where he like tells dumb like people don't swear when you're in my company, that kind of thing. And it's just but he's kind of a jerk. He's kind of impetuous, and I like that. It's just it's fun taking like one or two issues from the classic run and just being like, we're totally retconning this and going with it, because this all takes place during World War II. It's not
right.
So Nick Fury can still see stereo optically. It's
that's who gets sidelined, right?
That's who gets sidelined. Yeah, is Nick Fury. So it's basically Cap leading the Howling Commandos. It's good, a lot of fun. And then
Howling Commandos is a Keith Giffen invention too. Didn't he create them?
I thought that went back to like Kirby and the Golden Age.
Well, the Howling, the monster version.
Oh! I don't know. Maybe. And then also keeping with the spooky theme. Anyone else read Midnight Show?
I haven't yet, but I do have it. Okay.
Again, if this is written by Cullen Bunn. The art is amazing. It's Brian Hurt. If you're going to put out a comic with all the classic Universal monsters in it, I'm fucking here for it. And that said, it's good. It's fun. I highly recommend it. But it is now officially the third thing that I have read this year with the same. No, wait. Yeah, no, the third. The third thing I've read this year with the same basic plot, which is horror film is unfinished, becomes this sort of like cult thing, or not cult, but like this like cult phenomena. And then in rediscovering it and airing it, shit goes sideways. So if you read Night of the Ghouls, it's the basic plot of that. I just finished reading a few weeks ago the novel Silver Nitrate. It's the basic plot of that. And now I'm reading this. It's the basic plot of this. But anyway, still good. A lot of fun. I would say this is by far the most it's just like we're just going full bore into Universal monster kind of screams. There is one sequence in here that kind of bugged me. Oh, sorry.
This is your Skyline Battlefield LA.
Yeah, exactly. There's one sequence in here that I found just a little bothersome, which is the whole plot of this is that there is an infamous magnum opus film by this horror director, this guy down here. And it's been rediscovered, and they're airing it or screening it in kind of this small town that he was from. And so all these people have gathered to see this long lost movie, and they start screening it here. And then on the very next page, and so what's weird is like the last panel down here is the movie starting. And then on the next page, these figures up at the top, I can't do my hands correctly here. It's hard to tell what era they're from. So when I first read this, I was like, oh, they're in the movie, right? And then it kind of keeps cutting between stuff. And it's only a few pages later do I realize, oh, no, they're living people in the town. And so what happens over the next few pages is living people in the town start having things happen to them because the movie is playing. So, and I won't say any more. Lots of fun. Oh, what? Sorry, Danny.
They should have had a little outline of movie reels on the film part.
that literally what popped into my head, like a little like a framing device of like the sprocket holes or something would have been really helpful. Just because all the panels look identical, so just some sort of indicator that you're seeing something.
Yeah.
So that's all I read this week. Well, except for the fact that for the comic book club we read Nice House on the Lake Volume 1, which yes, holy
so
crap!
good.
Have you read that, Jeff?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
Have you read the whole thing, Jeff? No
What's
spoiler. Have you read the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. Don't spoil it for us because Volume 2 is coming today. But Volume 1 is just incredible. It's James Tinian the Fourth. God, I'm blanking on the artist.
Alvaro Martinez?
Something Bueno is the last name is Bueno. I seem to remember. Anyway, fucking fantastic. It is so good. Can't recommend it enough. And again, I'm not a big post-apocalyptic person, but because generally it's all very much about everything has gone to hell and people are just struggling to survive. And this totally inverts that idea, right? Everything has gone to hell and these people are totally safe. And so now it's like, what happens in that situation? So really, really, really good.
The first half, how many issues is that?
6.
It's 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
So coincidentally, Josh, real quick, since we talked about Martinez Bueno, the video. So I didn't. They sent me a print of his art for Batman. I didn't recognize who it was. Like with my order, this is additional stuff. Like I didn't order this.
That's awesome.
I didn't know it was him. So it was a nice coincidence that because I tweeted about it and they told me like, oh, this is Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and I was like, oh, he did Nice House on the Lake. Like we just read that, so it happenstance.
That is, hey, it's serendipity. It's real.
I kind of love that we only read the first half for Comic Book Club because we all theorized how it's going to end, and none of us know how it's going to end yet.
Right. But we will soon because I think like all of us ordered it, or if not, Clay, you can borrow mine after it comes in. So
yes.
And then I'll just show you really quick what's on the pile to read. I had to pick up Wesley Dodd's Sandman #1. I got this cover because why not? It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really, I didn't even know this was coming out. I'm a huge Golden Age Sandman fan, so I was glad to see it. So picked that up. I'm still buying this and I haven't read a single issue. Dark Droids, they're just piling up. I've got issue 3. So yeah,
we're halfway there, baby.
All right. Weird Work, just because I like me some Shaky Kane. So pick that up. And then I'll just wrap up on this one. This was one I was kind of like, I'm not sure if I should get this or not. It's hard to see. It's called Nights, Nights. It's from Image. And it's an interesting concept. It's basically like an alternate history. So when you open the first page, it just says, Florida is owned by Spain. America consists of 31 states. Vampires, ghosts, and other supernatural creatures are common and benign. The internet is infantile and irrelevant.
You had me at Florida is owned by a different country.
Right. Gives a whole new meaning to the phrase Florida man. But it's very funny. I wasn't expecting that. So I flipped through it at the shop and I was just kind of laughing because there are just some really kind of funny moments in it. And so it doesn't seem to take itself too seriously, which, I'm a fan of sometimes.
That's how Josh ended up being banned from zoos. Like, sir, we need you to stop in the middle of our store.
It's not a library, sir.
Oh God, it's like when I read that Ambush Bug again. I'm laughing too loud in public.
You're weirding people out, sir. Please stop.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it for me.
Jeff, let's go through some of your stuff. What have you been reading?
I took a couple of notes here. First, I'm going to pitch an idea to Netflix based off of Clay's description of the prequel Leatherface, and I want to see baby Leatherface.
Yes.
I definitely want to see a baby Leatherface just crawling around on all fours, I don't know how you do the chainsaw.
It's like
Somebody else will
Boss
figure
Baby, but with a
But with-
face
yeah.
on the baby
Yeah.
of a dead person.
And you get Baldwin to voice Baby Leatherface.
Yeah, 100%. Is the gun loaded? We don't know.
Oh.
Oh man! Oh,
I
apologies.
like that Jeff
Sorry.
took us to the darkest place.
yeah, I was gonna say the darkest timeline automatically. Oh, you got Barney.
Oh, no. To Josh, there was an Elvira comic earlier, maybe it was late last year, that also was like an unfinished movie.
Really?
as
Okay.
Unleashed. Yeah. So yeah, it is a trope that is alive and well.
I will have to track that down then.
It's one of her ones with Vincent Price. I don't remember the exact title of it. She comes out with these like little individual series kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I also have a giant stack of unread comics that I need to go through. I also have Knights that I've not read.
Awesome.
But what I did read this week is Fantastic Four number 12. This run of Fantastic Four
I got that
by
one too.
Ryan North is just fantastic. I mean, pun intended, not intended. It doesn't matter. It's great. And I've surprisingly, when I think back, I'm like, I've read quite a bit of Fantastic Four, and I'm, this is just a solid run. Like, it's not, I've read the Hickman thing, which was deep and beautiful and all encompassing and everything, and this is not that, but this is just like solid story after solid story after solid story.
Yeah.
I love it. And in this one, we get Dinosaur Avengers, so I don't know how you get much better than that.
Yeah.
I've also been reading this In Hell We Fight.
Oh, wow.
This is a cool series. It's 4 issues in. It's by John Layman, and the artist by Jock, but not that Jock. Different Jock.
They almost got me with that because I'm not the biggest fan of John Layman comics. But if it was Jock in there, I would have been on it.
Not that Jock. Is this professional team not that Jock? Like, I feel like it's got to be, right?
Other Jock.
I don't know what else John Layman has written, but this is pretty. I mean, it's about an angel that finds itself in hell and has to get out.
I think John Layman did Chew.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Farmhand.
Okay.
I did like mostly. I think John Layman also wrote that, which I thought that was cool from Boom Studios. But anyway, sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. I read the 3rd issue of Sacrificers.
Ooh, Remender. Rick Remender's
Yes. It is. Is anybody else reading this comic right now?
I only read the first one. I feel like Remender reads better in trade. For me.
He does.
Yeah, this feels like it would be better, a little bit better in trade. It's pretty good. The 3rd issue is when things start getting wild. So look forward to that.
You didn't think the first issue was wild with like the whole premise of having to sacrifice one of your kids, huh?
I mean, it's pretty wild. I'll say the 2nd issue twists on that, and then the 3rd issue twists even more. So
interesting.
Jeff read Remender's X-Force, and he was like, "Huh, run-of-the-mill stuff, okay."
Yeah, exactly. Where's the Leafield stuff? Where's the Leafield stuff? This X-Force doesn't have nearly enough pockets. Like,
yeah, if anything, it has less pockets than it actually should.
More pockets, more better. I have a little TikTok account, so on that I do some comic stuff, and I revisited Harrower for the Halloween times.
Oh, I've never heard
any of you guys. This is from Boom Studios. It's Justin Jordan with art by Bram Ravel. This is straight up slasher comics. It is small town.
Yeah, I did read the first one. Okay.
Yeah. And then you got a big monster that just kills everybody. And it's 4 issues. It's fantastic. It's exactly what you expect it to be, and it's great at doing it. So
nice.
And then also for that channel, because it's State Fair time, I pulled out my copy of X-Men at the State Fair of Texas.
You know, at the risk of it getting harmed, I need someone to scan that in, because for some reason it entered the zeitgeist where I was getting texts from colleagues who never read comics. And they're like, "Did you know there was an X-Men State Fair comic?" Like, it somehow it entered into the news stream when the State Fair hit this year. I'm not sure why.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You know, I remember it just because it was like, oh, there's like a free comic in the paper, you know, and it had the X-Men, and they were like the biggest selling book at the time. I was all about that.
Yeah, now this is this is kind of the ideal X-Men team that I think of.
Yeah.
When I think of the X-Men and this kind of classic.
That's the era that I read it, so.
I mean, it's Jim Salicrup with art by Carrie Gamble, so it's.
Oh, wow, Carrie Gamble, nice.
Yeah, so. And then the Dallas, this is from the Dallas Times Herald, a newspaper that no longer exists, but they did a bunch of stuff with Marvel. So I have Spider-Man with the Dallas Cowboys, and then there's Spider-Man with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Just Spider-Man doing a amount of cocaine with them.
is the Spider-Man with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders like the second issue is Spider-Man visits the Dallas strip club area? You know, like just
yeah. None of these mention the Kennedy assassination, and I just
no one goes by to remember JFK.
No. And that's really all I have. I did watch the movie Totally Killer. I think that's on. Is that on Amazon?
Prime.
Prime.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's great. I like that movie
a lot. Of fun. It's with the actress who plays Sabrina in The Chilling Adventures on Netflix. So, yeah, I recommend it. We have a review for it on the channel. So,
yeah,
cool. All right, let me go through some of the stuff I bought, and then I'll talk a little bit about what we read. So I also got the Capwolf issue. I think it's really fun. I picked up this is Midlife from Image. It's about a firefighter who his dad died in a fire when he was young. So he's a firefighter, but he's also kind of like a desk person, so he doesn't feel like he's very active. But when he turns 50, it turns out that he gets superpowers. So yeah. Let's see. We also have Batman City of Madness by Christian Ward. Oh, this is so good. It's beautiful stuff in here. I was trying not to buy more these large black label books, but this was really good. I had to get it. Picked up A Haunted Girl. That's the book we reviewed last week.
Ethan Sachs.
Yeah. I haven't read this, but I did pick up Saint Seiya #1 from Ablaze. I love this manga and anime, so I don't know what's in here. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know why they bring a manga to adapt it into a comic format, but and then here, let me see, because I read the other ones. I picked up these two for Welcome to Riverdale.
Oh crap!
I love these Chilling Adventures books. They were so much fun. And then I also picked up Destiny Gate #1. I haven't read it, but this is the Walking Dead variant, so I wanted to make sure to pick it up. So Negan's not in this book. Just to clarify, this is only a variant with homage to the Walking Dead. And then I do want to talk about the Superior Spider-Man Returns. So, as you guys may or may not know, the Superior Spider-Man is getting a series again. This is just a one-shot to kind of set everything up, but it's pretty cool. It's got Dan Slott's writing it with Christos Gage, because if you have watched that 616 documentary, and this is I'm not shitting on Dan Slott. This is something that they talked about in there, so they chose to air it out. Christos Gage comes in when he doesn't have enough time. to finish his scripts. So I mean, this is
interesting. Okay,
they said that in the documentary, but it has art by Mark Bagley, Ryan Stegman, Humberto Ramos, and Giuseppe Camuncoli. So
man, that's an all-star team there.
And then I don't have the other ones in me, but I also read Wolverine 37 and 38. This is the Benjamin Percy run. It's part 1 and 2 of the Last Mutant Standing, and it's really cool. I really like that. With Wolverine's kind of revisiting the first issue, he has to team up with the Hulk, which of course was the first time he appeared on screen. The second issue is he teams up with Cap, which I love their relationship and their dynamic because of how Reverend Wolverine, like it feels like almost kind of like the Punisher too. There's not a lot of people they respect, but Cap is one of them. So that always creates a fun dynamic. And that's kind of everything that I read this week, kind of in a shortened version. I also watched a few movies. You can see some reviews for that on the channel, including yesterday I watched Friday the 13th.
Not original. You saw the early 2000s remake.
I saw the better version.
Oh, the hammer has been dropped.
I saw the version that has Padalecki in it, and that's the one I want to watch. So, yeah.
All the early, from 2000 to 2009, there are a ton of horror remakes that all suck. They're totally worthless and not worth watching. Freddy, Jason, all of them are shit.
Clay's wrong on that. I love the 2000s era of horror remakes is where I live, and I love them. And probably because I had never seen the originals at the time.
But then you saw them and realized they were so much better than those turds that were just quick money grabs.
No, I didn't. I did not. That's not what happened at all.
How do you even compare the 2000 remake of Freddy to Robert Englund? Robert Englund owns that fucking character.
So the problem with Freddy is not so much that I don't think that the performance was bad. Is the fact that Freddy at some point he became like this charismatic, like from the original, of course, became this charismatic, funny, like you kind of like you're like, oh, okay, yeah, Freddy's like, of course he wants to kill everyone, but he's funny, right? Like he's got something about him.
In the remake, he's jotting down his one-liners to get ready to kill a kid.
Yeah. In the remake, they really leaned into how of like the molesting part of Freddy, and you're like, maybe not. Like, how do you want to? You don't want to follow that guy. You like so. Yeah, that was their big mistake.
Yeah.
But Clay, I'm gonna throw it back to you while I take care of some business.
Okay.
To close out some of these comics, and then we'll jump on to the next segment.
I've been reading Kelly Thompson's The Cull from Image. The most beautiful book. Holy moly. Is anyone else reading this?
So I bought issue 1, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So I'm glad to hear this.
Yeah, I've read the first 3, and I would say it's a little bit of like Paper Girls, but the girls are a little older, and I don't know. They kind of go into this different world and are exploring, and it's just beautiful. Like it seems to be a mixture of digital and paint, maybe.
Oh wow! Okay,
and but the story is pretty great. Like I'm very curious where this is headed. Also from my library,
the artwork. You're right. The artwork in that is fantastic. I feel like fantastic's the word for me today. I need a dictionary.
You need
it's great. A thesaurus. See, I need something.
A book.
I need a book.
Yeah, I've never seen that artist before. So this was like every page is like this beautiful painting, and the world they come into is I just can't describe it. It comes to life on the page. It's so bright, and I don't know how they make it pop like it does, but it does. And I'm curious to see what other books this person's done so I can check them out. Yes.
It's Mattia de. Oh wow, I'm butchering this. Mattia de Iulis.
I don't know. I'm bad.
IULIS?
I'm bad at names. It says that
terrible.
they also did Captain America.
Really? God, this is beautiful. Look at that.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to show that combination of.
Yeah, I think some of it's a little. It feels maybe almost uncanny valley, but it's not there. It's weird.
It says the other books include Invisible Woman from 2020, The Mighty Valkyries from 2021, and Jessica Jones, The Purple Kids one.
Interesting.
Yeah, not many books, but fantastic. But The Cult #3 is out this week. It's just so cool. Like, I just dig the whole look of that book. Most people have seen some of the cartoons online by Sarah Anderson, but they're all collected in a book called Oddball. And it's just comic strips, and it's hilarious, and it deals with all sorts of anxiety and depression and mental health, but they're all funny and weird. I just kind of love that book. I'm doing another reread of Annihilation because of Keith Giffen. Last House on the Lake. For horror fans, I can't recommend this enough. Like,
yeah.
I just want to say, like, there's a page of just tweets at the end of the world that really set the tone for that book. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then last, I am reading the 3rd volume of I Hate Fairyland.
Oh.
And you know what? I love Scotty Young, and this is just Scotty Young telling the story. It's Brett Bean does all the art in this, and the best way I can describe it is it's Itchy and Scratchy meet Chuck Jones. It's just a cool, yeah. I mean, it is. Gert is this kid who's stuck in fairyland, and she continues to get older, but her body stays young, and it kind of drives her insane. And I've heard the greatest analogy about the series from Aaron over at Urban Legends is he goes, that's just Scotty Young. He's just trapped in a world that he can draw, and it's this cute, artsy, kid style, and he's just working his shit out through this book. I had been behind the issues of this, and my wife had, because as I was reading it, there was stuff that was referencing the first volume, and my wife has the first 2 volumes. So
nice.
I'm going to go ahead and jump into the hardbacks and read through, and they're all quick reads. Like, I think this is the perfect book for like kids getting into cartoons, maybe like 9 or 10 years old, but they can deal with the cartoony violence because it's over the top and crazy. I mean, it's Ren and Stimpy at times. It's just really a fun book. And he puts her on quests. The quest doesn't really matter. It's about the interactions with the other characters, seeing what Fairyland consists of, and just the wild drawings that they do in that book. But yeah, that's been all the books I've read this week.
Interesting, because I tried getting into I Hate Fairyland. I gave it a shot the first time, and then when this relaunched, and I was like, no, I don't think it's for me, but I'm glad you like it, Clay. Cool. All right, so hold on, because we're going to clip this part out, as we normally do. For this week's advanced review, as you guys know, we've been doing some advanced reviews. It's a book that I'm pretty excited for just because of the creative team behind it. We're going to be talking about Hack Slash Back to School #1. There's a new book from Image Comics coming out next week. So as you can see, this is with story and art by Zoe Thorogood. The original Hack Slash was created by Tim Seeley and Stefano Caselli. Now, before we get into this, have any of you guys read Hack Slash stuff before?
Nope.
No one? Interesting, because it seems like I feel like there's a Hack Slash book at least every other year or something over at Image. Like from since whenever I can remember. But yeah, it's interesting that we don't. So before we get into this book, I wanted to ask, did you guys feel like this book was accessible enough without having any Hack Slash knowledge? Clay, I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, I'd never read any hack slash, and so just going into it, I wasn't sure of the character, but this issue pretty much kind of sets everything up for you. So it lays out who the character is, kind of what she does, and then she stumbles upon somebody who says, yes, we have a school for people like you. And then you get to meet the other schoolmates. So it's very accessible. It's like perfect if you've never read anything before, because I kind of learned who the character is, learn who she's going to school with, and now kind of where the story is going to go in the second issue.
Yeah. Jeff, did you feel it was accessible?
Yeah, I've seen like hack slash on those comic shelves before, so I knew it was like girl, big guy. I thought that they were like serial killers or whatever. I didn't know what the premise was really. I just knew bloody comic, girl, big guy. So you kind of get that right away in this. It does feel very Buffy meets, I don't know, that she goes to the school. So it was like, it kind of reminded me of that. What's that Zack Snyder movie?
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch?
Sucker Punch. Yeah. It's sort of like a little bit like that, kind of. A little bit of Umbrella Academy kind of.
Yeah. I mean, X-Men too, right? Obviously, there's a school
a little
there,
X-Men.
so.
Yeah.
Cool.
A little bit like that. It was super accessible. It was good. I really enjoy Zoe Thurgood's work, so like her artwork and stuff. So,
well, let me give you guys a quick synopsis of the book. In this, it's going to be a miniseries. In this, it returns with an untold tale, and critically acclaimed cartoonist Zoe Thurgood at the bloody helm. Slasher hunter Cassie Hack is only just getting used to her man monster partner Vlad. So there's the girl, big guy trope that we was talking about. When she is drawn into a new case involving a murderous bunny mascot, dead kids, and an entire squad of maladjusted teenage serial killer hunters. A completely new chapter in the beloved long-running series that's perfect for new readers and old fans alike, just in time for Halloween. So, I mean, this was definitely by design, right? That they wanted to bring in a new audience and make it accessible. Of course, you're using a creator like Zoe, who's like kind of blowing up right now. She has a lot of really good work, and it's just kind of it's a very different thing from some of the other work I've read. I guess because it is adapting something that already kind of exists. There's a lot of gore.
In a horror book?
Yeah, but it's like it is gory, but it's not. I don't know. Like it's still kind of fun to look at in a weird way.
It's fun to look at.
Is it?
I will say there's also like a bit of in my mind, like I was talking before. When I think of hack slash, I think of like those Catholic schoolgirl outfits. I think it's like in my head. It's always been a comic for like teenage boys because it does seem very violent, and then there's like girls in miniskirts and whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's why I just on the cover it's never appealed to me. So I do think it's an interesting thing that they've chosen Zoe Thorogood, who maybe appeals to a different audience to say, look at this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they are trying to bring in just a different.
Maybe Zoe's got range. Maybe Zoe can write books for teenage boys too.
Yeah.
Let me pull up some preview art. Because these are the opening pages, and I won't go too deep into it. But as you can see, I'm a big fan of the pacing of this, like just kind of slowly zooming out for these first few panels, and then the big reveal on the next page of like, oh shit, things went down, right?
Yeah.
I like the news narration of like, this is kind of how we're gonna tell you what's going on, and then things escalate pretty quickly. I think after this, we get a little bit of like, who is Cass, who's Vlad, like what's their relationship like. I like the narration boxes that are like notes from a diary that feels very personal to the character, and I like the character designs. I really like the layout of the book. It's fun because we've always been sharing on social media like some of the behind the scenes process for this stuff. But the next page after this, if you guys remember that the ones that have read it, is insane. I thought about putting in the slideshow. I decided against it because I think it may spoil something, but also it's a pretty graphic. Like it's probably one of the most graphic pages in the issue. But it's a lot of fun. I think the book overall is very straightforward, a lot of fun, and I'm interested because it's only a miniseries, so it's not a big commitment. And I just kind of want to know more about these insane characters that are introduced later on.
I really hope that turns on like a page flip, like that. You flip the page and then
yeah.
That's an art that doesn't get talked about much, of like these page reveals, especially because I read a lot digitally since we get the previews digitally. But like, yeah, I guess that's something to check out for when I get the issue. Do you guys have anything more to say about the book without going too deep into any spoilers?
I just remember my favorite line from it was when they were introducing the characters. They had the goth girl running away, and she says, "Oh, that's our resident goth girl. Your eyeliner's making her. You have so much eyeliner, you're making her uncomfortable."
I think the pug is also pretty fun.
The pug is great. Is it the same? Is it the same characters every book, or is it a different girl, big guy every book? Do you know?
I'm not sure about that. I think this says it's a lost chapter, so I'm thinking we do follow maybe Cass in the main series. Maybe that's who we end up following. This feels like almost like year 0 for her, maybe, if that's what it is. But that's a good question.
Baby
I don't know.
Hackslash.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of. For some reason, I thought Hackslash was like a technological hacking type of like book, but I've never kind of put it together. So really cool stuff. I enjoyed it. I'm glad we got to read it a little bit early because I had been waiting for it. And here's some of the variant covers. So if you have read this, let us know what you thought about it down in the comments and all that good stuff. But some pretty cool.
And remember the question of the week: who is today's Shaka Khan?
Yeah. So, all right.
Get in those comments.
We need to know Shaka Khan. So Clay stepped away for a minute, but we can keep going here. Let's talk about New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con is here, and I've seen everyone. I think one of my favorite things about New York Comic Con is seeing all these people kind of like connect and be together, like artists that probably work all over the world, reunited for like a day or a weekend.
Yeah.
But we got a bunch of announcements. We're gonna kind of go through them. If there's if you guys are looking at the doc, if there's anything specific you want to talk about, I kind of arranged these in the order that I thought people may want to talk about them, except for I don't know why I copied that YouTube link on there. But the first thing, and kind of Clay put all these together, so he's not here for me to give him praise. Hold on, CBR wants me to stop using my ad block. Jesus, CBR, come on, get it together. No, here's Clay. I guess I can give him an acolyte. Clay, I was just saying, thanks for putting all these together for us. All these links.
Oh, the news.
Yeah. Although CBR is not letting me use the ad blocker, so you may see some ads, but not sponsored. We're not sponsored by Hulu. Not sponsored by Hulu. The first story we're gonna cover is Jason Aaron's gonna write DC Superman in 2024.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
In Action Comics. So it looks like Philip K. Johnson's run is coming to an end. But I'm excited. What do you guys think of this?
I mean, he killed it on Thor. I mean, he's just done everything at Marvel. So it's really time for him to go to DC and dominate there. I just love his stuff. I just am curious which direction he's going to go. Is he going to add more to the mythology or push forward? Because he's great at adding incredible backstory to characters.
Well, the article, I think, said that it's a small arc. It's like only a 3-issue arc or something like that.
Oh, shit, that's
going
all?
forward. Yeah, going forward, it seems like what they're doing with Action is they're just bringing on these kind of big writers or big superstar teams to do tiny little mini arcs.
Oh, it's Bizarro. I'm in.
Yeah.
Bizarro. Yeah.
I'm glad Jeff read the articles. I'm just going through the headlines.
That's all I did too. Now, but has Aaron ever written anything at DC? Is this his first?
No, I don't. He must have written something at DC. I would think.
Right.
I think the article did say like it's his first in a long while. I think he might have written some backups. Yeah, because Scout. That's what it was.
Okay,
they did make reference to something.
Cool. Next up, and hold on, because this might ask me to disable ad block every time.
Oh, he wrote some American Vampire, some Batman.
I think everyone's written American Vampire by this time.
He did some Hellblazers.
See, and that's all stuff I would not associate Jason Aaron with. That's really interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
So we also got some news that a bunch of creatives are getting together to do this new thing called
Image
Growth Machine. It is a partnership with Image. So I thought when I first saw this, I thought this was going to be kind of like the distillery stuff. But no, this seems to be a new thing, a whole new thing that includes Jason Fabok, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Jeff Johns, Lamont McGee, who I'm not familiar with that creator, Francis Manapul, Brad Meltzer, Peter Tomasi, and Maytal Shoot, in addition with some other people. But it looks like they're going to be kind of just bringing in their own series. I mean, we've seen Jeff Jones do a lot of stuff already with Image, with Gary Frank, and that whole universe of what's it called? What are the books called, Josh? I know you read some of those.
Yeah, it's
Junkyard Joe and all the stuff.
Junkyard Joe. God, there's a name for it. I can't. All I've read is the Junkyard Joe, but
it spins off of Geiger, so the Geiger verse, I guess. Whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Here you go. It's in the article. See, we should have read these guys. Come on.
Hey, Jeff, put the news out there. I don't expect me to read it.
Yeah, right. So it's interesting. They're gonna have I think they had a panel yesterday, but I don't know.
The article I think said that once everybody wraps up their stuff with all the other companies, that then they're going to be exclusive to whatever this new company is called. And I think it's kind of set up sort of like Skybound. So they're hooked up with Image, but they're their own little thing for right now.
That makes okay, so that makes sense. They're just gonna kind of fold in the stuff that they're already working on if they're already there, or new ones.
Yeah. So
what does that mean when you have your own? Because I know that they used to have that in the beginning, that everyone kind of had their own publishing house under Image, and it was just a group that usually it was in that universe.
Right.
Is this the same format, or is it just because these creators are getting a different kind of deal?
I imagine it's like a studio within that uses Image. So like Jim Lee's Wildstorm stuff, like he could take it all and just be like, here you go, I'm selling it to DC.
But, I think they're taking advantage of Image's like publishing and distribution stuff, while still kind of pretty much holding everything. I mean, it's very similar to being a creator on your own at Image, because they don't, all that stuff, you could take it and leave anywhere. I think we've seen that kind of, we've seen creators from Image go to other places. Yeah. This is just more of a like, we're stronger because we're kind of building something together, like putting all this talent together, maybe. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Definitely a lot of creators that feel like they used to work at the Big Two a long time ago and they don't anymore.
That's kind of what I was wondering. I joked about these creators are forming Image, but is this a sign of like, of people trying to get out from under the heavy hand of like Marvel or DC, Yeah.
I mean, that makes perfect sense too, because if you don't have control, then that you kind of out of luck, right? But
well, and I would be curious if a lot of this, there was a news item I posted. I guess there was a discussion on social media this week about how trying to be a comics professional is just wrecking people, and I wonder if maybe moves like this are also a knock-on effect of the writer's strike and the acting union strike. Like, just, you know,
it feels like this is a compromise of like, we're not really a comics union, but we kind of are a collective still. So like,
yeah,
you have a little bit more power behind that, which I think, I mean, that's probably a whole topic for another show, and it would probably have to do a little bit more with DC and Marvel. Although some of these other smaller publishers also have we've seen some issues over the past years of like not paying creators or like kind of ghosting them after the fact and stuff like that. So yeah, that thread, whenever that whole thread happened of comics will break you, or I think it's comics will break you.
I think so. Yeah,
that was pretty rough to read some of those things, because these are just kind of people that, yeah, like I can't imagine if my job just didn't pay me a week and you're like, wait, what the fuck? So, all right. Next, we have the news. The reason we played, the reason I guess I chose to do the intro that we did.
It's this weed stuff.
Yeah. Dynamite and Warner Brothers Discovery Global Consumer Products. I hate that I just read all that.
Yeah, I know, God. Warner Brothers Discovery with the most like fake, corporate name in the world.
Which I think they're about to be sold again, from what I read, maybe to Universal, and that's different news. But whatever. The point is that the reason we're watching it here is because they're gonna spin off some of their stuff to like some of their properties into comic books that have been handled by DC before, but now they're doing it through Dynamite, including the one I was most excited for in 2024, Declan Shalvey's Thundercats, which hell yeah, let's go. But we'll have the Flintstones, Powerpuff Girls, Space Ghost, Johnny Quest, Wizard of Oz. I didn't know that was a Warner Brothers property.
I think just the film version is, and so like specifics to the film, Ruby Red Slippers,
gotcha. Isn't the literature in the public domain though?
It is, yeah.
Gotcha. We Bear Bears. The thing is, it's an animated show with like, I think Patton Oswalt was in it, and Bobby Moynihan, where they were just like naked bears out in the woods.
Yeah, it's a funny little show. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's Patton Oswalt, Dimitri Martin, Charlene Yee. Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're reading Alien, you know that Shalvey is really good at adapting. Like on top of all the other stuff, he's a fantastic artist. He's very talented, and also the writing. Like these Alien arcs that he's been doing have been really fun. So I'm interested in these. Luckily, we are partnered with Dynamite, so we should get some previews for these. But I'm excited because they've been doing it with Disney properties, right, for the past few, maybe.
Yeah, this is pretty normal for Marvel because they've had other places publish some of their stuff.
Yeah, because like Darkwing Duck is coming out by Dynamite. All those Disney villains books, Gargoyles.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I wonder. Dynamite just like, we don't have any properties of our own really, except Red Sonja.
Can I pitch you something? Because at some point you are going to get an issue to read to review.
I do have David Zaslav's ear, so yeah, go ahead.
Just when you get the issue to review, will you start your review with Thundercats are on the move, Thundercats are loose, and they're coming to your shop. Let's review. I just want you to throw some lyrics.
Okay, well,
I have to say there's a whole generation of kids, and I think that's like all of us here, who did not realize that standing outside and raising your arms up and just screaming "Ho!" is not a good thing.
Until you try it.
I'm just saying. Sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
I was going to say, that was my issue with Masters of the Universe, is that at the beginning of that, he's just like, one day I just held aloft my mighty sword and said, by the power of Grayskull. Like, he's just casually doing it on a Thursday.
Right, yeah.
He had nothing else to do, and then he's like, oh my god, this works. And it makes me wonder if we're all just like one magic sword away and some
And
magic
you guys
words
don't walk
from...
around trying to see if your web shooters will start working?
Yeah, just picking up sticks, just trying to pull things out of rocks.
I mean, if I had $1 for every time I've walked down like dark abandoned subway tunnels, hoping I'd find a wizard with a giant stone hanging above them, I'd be a millionaire.
Careful, John. Are you talking about Mockingbird Station? That is
a joke for the locals.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a joke only for us. So
the creepiest, most desolated underground, no cell phone signal. That's probably one of the worst.
Oh man, when I worked, quick story. When I worked downtown right after grad school at the Nasher, one summer day when things were really slow, someone pointed out to me there are a whole series of underground tunnels under downtown.
Yeah.
And you can like take them to get to certain places. So I was like, well, I'll try that. What nobody bothered to tell me is that there are huge stretches of that without like good lighting and no shops. Like it's like walking into a horror movie.
Yeah.
And then you turn a corner and there's like a whole like food court. It's like, where the fuck did this come from? Like,
you know that's where they filmed Logan's Run.
No, that's where it was.
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea. That's awesome. Okay, very
it's
cool.
been redone a bunch of times because I used to work down there, and you would go underground to go get food, but there was only like maybe 4 or 5 spots,
right?
A handful of places. Because Texas is so fucking hot that they were going to have this mall that was underground, and then they made it so hard for businesses to stay there because they were like, we want people walking the streets, and it's like, why? It's like 1 billion degrees.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So you've got like I think a few barbecue places, some fast food, sushi.
There's some ramen. It's a good ramen joint. I hope they're still there. I haven't gone back since after COVID, so
I say that's a good place for a meetup. Like.
Yeah, sure.
For those people that do like geocache stuff, like where they I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Stay out of our tunnels, you hippies.
but it's neat because that area of Dallas, if you look under some of the gratings, you can see where some of the sewage and lines, and those sewers are deep. I mean, you could fully walk standing up through some of those areas of Dallas if you wanted to just,
But don't do it.
That's just kids do it.
That's just cholera. I mean, look, I know we all watched that early Tom Hanks movie, and it sounds like a good place to go play D&D, but it's not. All right, just not.
If you want to find the magic wizard, you walk down through those sewers. Okay,
that's where your superpowers are.
Yeah, or turtles, one or the other.
Again, if your superpower is cholera, then yes. So.
Do not play with the green ooze that's down there. All right. Our next news is in the same vein, really. Like it's pretty much the same news, just with different properties and a different publisher.
We all had hot takes on this.
So exclusive from comicbook.com.
Weird.
Oni Prez will be collaborating in a new, just a lot of toy properties that are coming out from the Nacelle company, which include things like RoboForce and Biker Mice from Mars, which I'm very excited for.
Why?
Why? I mean,
why? Because nobody
Bikers Mice from Mars.
Look at that hot mess. I mean, what the fuck?
I hope. Oh man, I wish Street Sharks was part of this.
Now, if you bring in
Street Sharks,
I'm all in.
He said,
Street Sharks.
Oh my god! All right. First off, I've never heard of this Nacelle company, but I just Googled them, and holy shit, they have RoboForce T-shirts. They've brought back redesigned RoboForce toys. What is going on?
And those RoboForce toys that Jeff showed us only had like 2 points of articulation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
they were making it out like this is gonna be like ROM and Micronauts, and I'm like, from the 80s, like who are you appealing to? The people who couldn't afford Transformers?
Exactly. RoboForce is below GoBots. All right, it went Transformers, GoBots, RoboForce.
Not everyone grew up in an ivory tower where we could just have Transformers and Star Wars toys.
I could never afford Transformers toys. I had a lot of GoBots. I had not a single RoboForce.
I remember going to
the fuck's a
what's the
RoboForce?
place in Grand Prairie called? The Traders Village.
Yeah.
That's where I got my Transformers from. My Ninja Turtles.
I mean,
I had RoboForce as a kid. I don't remember them. I don't remember what they did other than that they just kind of squeezed their arms.
Well, they didn't even have legs.
Yeah,
they don't have legs.
Didn't they have like suction cups?
Yeah, they had little suction cups on the bottom. You pop right. I think Nacelle is it's a production company. They produced some like documentaries. I think they're the people that did the toys that made us people?
Yeah. Which is a great series. I love that. But
I think they do some great work. I don't know when they pivoted they started making toys. The RoboForce toys that they have recreated based off those 80s they have way more articulation.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. They look nothing like they look like that picture, but than the original. Yeah. I'm excited for the Sectars on that list because the Sectars were a cool.
They were a cool concept, yeah. But here's the thing,
creepy, but cool, yeah.
If you look at that image, it's like if you're of our generation, that is like somebody thought, let's do a universe of the Island of Misfit Toys. Like it looks like, how are they going to tie all this shit together, right? I mean,
how are you going to get the biker mice from Mars to interact with the RoboForce of Earth?
It's going to be wild.
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
Well, while I was checking this out, I did read some of the articles on this one because Comics Beat had an interview with the guy who's running this, and Heidi McDonald has been doing comics journalism for decades, and she said this guy's passionate. Like, this guy is really wanting to make this happen, and it's really gung ho. And so she was really surprised, like how much. How excited he was to do all this stuff. So this might be like something that we're goofing on that a year from now we'll be going, hey, did you guys read the latest issue? Yeah.
Oh my God, do you see what happened in Sectars?
Yes. Hey, we may be speaking out of turn. This guy may
absolutely
have to push a product that becomes like one of the top two. Who knows?
But so that's a good point, Clay. And again, this may turn out really great, but there are also times where people's passion for something fundamentally wrecks it. And I'm looking at the film version of Mark Halprin's Winter's Tale, because the screenwriter and director of that was a huge fan of the novel. And that movie is a piece of shit. It is, because I'm also a big fan of the novel. Anyway, so.
All right. Our next piece of news is from Marvel. So I think, like I said, Marvel and DC are having their big panels today.
Yeah.
But they announced we're going to watch a trailer since we have one for the Amazing Spider-Man crossover event, Gang War, which sounds insane. So let's take a look at that one, then we'll talk about it. All right, here it is. Let me know if you guys can hear that. The sweet John Romita animation too.
John Romita Jr.
I like him, but I am not a fan of him on this Spidey run. You know, I don't think this is how democracy works.
Hey, that's the mayor of New York, Luke Cage, all right?
That is true, yeah.
I want to see our city's mayor like go to the streets and kick ass.
Oh, I don't know who that other character was.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's Mary Jane. Odd. I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I read Luke Cage is getting a new costume during this run too.
Oh, cool.
Which, I mean, he's pretty much just been a shirt. Like, unless you go back to the 70s look, he's pretty much just been, sharply dressed or a yellow shirt with no sleeves kind of guy. I've never understood the bracers he's had, like in the Thunderbolts run. Like, why does Luke Cage need that? Like, who's hitting him, the Unbreakable Man? He's got to stop with something that will break.
It's therapeutic, actually. It's for his,
It's like
his carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel, yeah.
You know the infomercials with the bronze things, like for balance and improve. Yeah, that's what it's for. What do you guys think of Gang War? Are you guys excited to read it?
I like the good guy lineup.
Yeah.
Especially Spider-Boy, right? Everyone's favorite new character from Marvel.
I have not read the Spider-Boy yet, but it is Dan Slott?
No, Zeb Wells.
Zeb Wells, okay.
Well, I thought Spider-Boy is Dan Slott.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I mean, you guys know I noped out of this on issue 1. I'm just like, I couldn't care less. So
I've been out on Spider-Man for a while.
I may read it after it's collected.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I kind of have to for the channel, obligated.
It's weird and maybe bad timing that it comes out after Gotham War.
Which is
Gotham War is not going. I feel like I hear people complaining about it.
Maybe they are stupid. Oh, I will say, Batman did the worst thing he's ever done in the latest issue of Batman. It's so.
Oh wow! Damn.
All
right.
So it's an invasion. Yeah, it's. I don't even want to get into it. So
he litters.
Next we have. DC revives the Elseworld imprint with 6 new stories revealed at Comic-Con. This is very excited for.
But isn't Black Label basically Elseworlds? Like this is
what I thought too.
This is them just being like, all right, Dan DiDio's gone. That's
nice, yeah.
He's been gone long enough. We can bring it back now.
Now, but this does make sense why we got the animated Gotham by Gaslight and the Doom that came to Gotham, right? Like
that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think these are maybe follow-ups or spin-offs or continuations from Elseworld stories. So maybe that's why they want to keep them in that imprint in that world.
That
because
makes sense.
Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age. So to me, this feels like, this is when Superman arrives in that Gotham by Gaslight universe, right?
Yeah.
Batman the Barbarian. Which I don't.
Was that in Elseworlds?
It doesn't matter. Greg Smallwood is doing that.
Isn't this the same guy?
Oh, maybe it's from the toys. It looks kind of similar, just not as.
It looks like He-Man with a cape and a Batman.
Yeah, totally. That's why I bought it.
But I mean, it's Greg Smallwood. I don't care. They Dynamite could put it out, and I'll still buy it. No, just kidding. We love Dynamite.
Greg Smallwood is awesome, dude.
Dark Knights of Steel, all winter.
I've never heard of that one.
This is. I don't know if this is going to be part of the Tom. Yeah, it is part of the Tom Taylor Dark Knights of Steel universe. So this should be fun. That just recently wrapped up. So if you hadn't read it,
you had me at Tom Taylor.
This one, so he's not writing that one though. I will give you a heads up, but it's part of his universe. I can't, This one's the one I'm very excited for. Green Lantern Dark, by Tate Brumble, who's currently doing the Christopher Chaos book, and also what was the other one? Behemoth. I forget what the name of this.
Oh,
but also with Werther Dell'Edera. So like, I mean. At least it's gonna look sick. And then Batman Nightfire, which is the most extreme. Oh, this is by Clayman and Sethman. I'm pretty sure they're siblings. And then DC versus Vampires.
Is he writing it?
Yeah, I think so. And then DC versus Vampires World War V, which is just a continuation of the DC versus Vampires story. Matthew Rosenberg, Otto Schmidt. I mean, come on. If you haven't read that, if you haven't read any of these I recommend it because I'm a big fan of pretty much everything. So let's look at some of these. I'm sure they're variant covers, but
Otto Schmidt art is just amazing.
Yeah, he is such a cool, like, just such a. I don't know. His art feels like there's a lot of swagger behind it, and that's kind of a weird way to describe art.
Yeah.
But that one's really cool. This new Green Lantern. Yeah.
And they said this Green Lantern is based off of the what was that little pocket universe called? Where who was the gosh, they rethought all their characters. It's in the art.
Just Imagine. Just Imagine. The Stan Lee stuff.
No, it was something else. Let me see if I can figure it out.
Okay. Well, Josh will be back soon, but I mean, while he's gone, you guys get to see that we are in Tandera. You can't really see the cat in the background, but that's where we are streaming from today. We do have hello, Man Cave Theater. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for joining us. If you were watching on Twitch, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting comments, but
a 10-year-old has logged into the chat.
Taken care of. Yeah, something like that. I want to wait for the Daredevil stuff for Josh to come back. So let's talk about real quick the 2000 AD Steve Dillon Apex edition, which if you want me to buy more book 2024, I'm gonna buy a lot of these artist edition because they are printing out a bunch of them that I'm very interested in. But this one looks super cool. I mean, Steve Dillon. I should check out some of Steve Dillon's Judge Dredd stuff. I don't think I've ever read anything. But I mean, sometimes they're hard to like find.
Face with Steve Dillon art is just perfect.
Yeah. Sometimes they're hard to find the 2000 AD like specific, like if you're looking for something very specific because of the way, like sometimes they're not collected in the most friendly way. So interesting, but this looks amazing. I love like a lot of the stuff this is the closest we'll get to like owning some original art, right?
Yeah.
So these look very cool.
I am absolutely buying this book.
Oh yeah. Look at that beautiful cover, Apex edition. This may be the first thing I ordered from 2000 AD in a long time. So, pre-order is available now. Let's see. What is it? What's that going to run?
$100. That's my guess.
Check?
No. I'm playing Comics Price is Right.
Oh,
157. Oh, that's a slipcase edition. So
no, but that's it. Yeah,
that's it.
Edition. Yeah, 157.
Fuck.
I'm gonna announce my GoFundMe for $157 right now.
No. Add shipping.
Oh yes. Just make it 200.
Yeah, 200. There you go.
If you're buying something for $150, they should give you free shipping, right?
I agree.
They should.
Come on, companies, stop. Well, I don't want to tell 2000 AD to stop being greedy, but they're just a comics publisher. But
it's weird. They've been one of the only publishers who haven't announced like a big mega movie universe. You would think Judge Dredd would be ripe for a movie universe, but all we got was that last Dredd movie.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah, Carl Urban. I mean, if we have more Carl Urban, that would be great.
I feel like almost what they need to do. I feel like they constantly are trying to partner so that they can bring Judge Dredd to an American audience. And I think what they need to do is just keep it in England, like partner with the BBC or ITV and just do a relatively big, like a Doctor Who budget kind of series and just do it that way. Like just make it for a British audience. And I guarantee it will become a success in the States.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's talk about this. So this next set of news, Josh, I waited for you to come back for this.
Thank you.
Because you kind of brought this up on our chat. And this isn't. I don't think this came out of Comic-Con. This is just like news that happened throughout the week. So
Yeah.
we're kind of done with the Comic-Con itself announcements. Like I said, there'll probably be more. Also, I might be doing a video on the Harvey Awards that happened yesterday, which is the awards that happened at New York Comic-Con.
Right.
So we have the Eisners happen at San Diego, the Ringos happen at the convention in Baltimore. I forget what it's called, and then the Harveys happen at New York Comic Con. Give me a second, Jeff. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about it because we got some news from the Hollywood Reporter. Daredevil hits reset button as Marvel overhauls its TV business. So it looks like they're taking advantage of this time that they've had to, like, I guess, wait there since they're not doing anything. And they're going to kind of, it looks like from what I read, scrap everything they have so far on Daredevil and take it kind of in a different direction.
Yeah.
From what I read, it was a legal procedural. And and then I've even read rumors that in the first episode that Foggy and Karen die. It was a rumor, but that was going to be why he leaves the Daredevil suit, goes to court to do the whole lawyer thing, and I'm like, who the fuck wants to watch that? But I mean, after you have that Netflix series, the bar is so high for what we expect, especially from Disney now. Like it's all you, it's all in your lap.
Yeah,
and they seem to have just scrapped everything and are going to start over. And I've seen some people just say this is a Kevin Feige move because he realizes that didn't work, and he would rather do it right than try to force something that might be okay. But he obviously saw something was wrong, and they're gonna and they even fired all the writers too. Like they're just gonna get a whole new writers room and start over. So I'm blown away. I mean, you're telling Born Again in a different way. I don't know if maybe they're just stealing that title the same way they stole Secret Invasion.
Right.
It's going to be a whole new different direction. I hope that they bring back Foggy and Karen.
I do too. Although what's uncertain is because again, currently the only actors we know returning are Charlie Cox and D'Onofrio, right? So are they going to bring like one reasoning I guess I could see for if the rumor was true, them killing Karen and Foggy in the first one is maybe they just didn't want to bring back those actors, right? So you write them out as central as they are to that story.
But like, who is Daredevil without Foggy?
I know.
Right. And if I could play Kevin Feige for like a little bit, I would be like, they should adapt, especially since they've already introduced him as kind of a bit of a lighthearted in She-Hulk.
Yeah,
I would jump into the Mark Waid run. Where he's like, out because in that series he's out in San Francisco, and I think She-Hulk's in California. So and then you can separate, like Foggy and Karen are back in New York. If you want to bring him back, we can do it. It also kind of plays into that lightheartedness from the She-Hulk, and then in season 2 or 3 you can wallop us with Born Again, because then you can have them.
But see,
what that is.
But see, that's the takeaway. So that was just the one news article I found, but this was all over my news feed, is just Marvel's Disney Plus TV, just that whole effort seems to be in total disarray right now. Like for me, the takeaway from that article was it's not just that Born Again is being reset. It's that Marvel and Disney are kind of looking at all the stuff they've done so far and are pivoting. And what worries me is I feel like the majority of the stuff they've done so far has been enormously successful. It's been interesting. It's been unique. It's been these, like limited run series. And now they're kind of pivoting to, we want series that can go on for 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. And I'm like, so you're pivoting to just traditional television when, like think of WandaVision is incredible, right? Enormously experimental. still taps into the extended MCU. Like, it does all this stuff, and yet you're going to have some when you're operating that way, you're going to have some stuff that won't work as well, right? But I think there have been more successes than failures. I mean, look at Werewolf by Night. I mean, like, such an amazing experimental thing to do. Now they're just like, nah, we just need a new Marvel version of the Frasier reboot. You know, like, that's what it sounds like they're doing. So,
I
Jeff, I cut you off.
Yeah, I just feel like they stole the Born Again title, like to say, you know, in the sense that, like, oh, this exists. He's going to be coming to Disney. If we use that title, we don't necessarily have to use the story, but all the comic fans that know the story are like, oh, we're getting born again.
We're getting born again. Yeah, exactly.
You know, because the same way with Spider-Man, we got Homecoming, but there is no Homecoming story. It was just kind of a play on the fact that Spider-Man was returning from Sony to Marvel in a way.
I think you're seeing a couple of things come to a head. One, I feel like the Marvel movie method kind of mirrored the old Marvel comics, the Marvel method, which is they give a here's the idea, director, go run with it.
Right.
You have to hit these notes, and then, you know, you bring back our first copy, and then Stanley, you know, Kevin Feige's going to kind of tweak it a little bit, and then, you know, we'll push it out.
That I never thought of it that way, but that makes total sense. Like, that's fascinating. Sorry, go on. And I think it's fine. Well, one, I think that's kind of caught up with them, just like it did in the comics. I also think that a lot of what those articles were talking about was, once they launched Disney Plus, there was this edict to just push a bunch of product out. And now streaming services are realizing there's no way they can earn money from just subscriptions. So I think they want to push old school television back out because they are trying to recreate television. They want stuff that they can license out for seasons at a time, right?
Like to Freevee or whatever. So I think that's why they're kind of like, let's stop with let's go back to doing some traditional television stuff so that we can, you know, make money on eventually licensing it out to other places and whatnot.
Yeah, and I remember there was a run of Daredevil written by a Hollywood screenwriter. I'm trying to remember who it was that did.
Kevin Smith?
No. Oh my God. Yeah, Bob Gale. I think it was Bob Gale.
Oh, from Back to the Future?
Yeah, he wrote Daredevil as a lawyer procedural. Not good. Not good at all. Like, I don't know why if you go to the comics and find that run, it may be a good read now, but I remember this going, where's Daredevil? Like, I don't want to see Matt in the courtroom constantly. And yeah, he may defend Stiltman. Oh, there's a great tie-in. But if you're in a courtroom, Jesus, I mean, with all the other stuff going on in the world, we're just going to see courtroom feeds all the time. Nobody wants to see this shit.
Well, I mean, all right, but counterpoint, they played into that with She-Hulk, and I thought it worked really well. I think it's less about setting and more about tone, right?
You didn't have the precedence of having 3 seasons at Netflix.
Yeah,
with some of the best stunt work and fights you've ever seen. And if you take that away, I mean, you kind of have to keep going with that.
Another counterpoint, I'll never stop watching Law and Order SVU. So
like 98% of the world.
I mean, I hate to break it, but I don't think Marvel's going to get like 50 seasons of Daredevil, you know, SVU or Daredevil, you know, in the courtroom.
Can you imagine if Daredevil only focused on special victims? That'd be a really fucking dark book.
You know, but it is, I guess, counterpoint, going back to your point, Clay, if that proved to be true, they were going to do Born Again and do it as like a courtroom procedural kind of thing. That feels very 80s and 90s Marvel, right? Like, we're going to bring this to the screen. We're not going to do anything comic accurate because we can't afford it, you know? So, yeah, we're going to have Thor in the Hulk movie. He's going to be dressed like a bad Viking from Magic Time Machine, you know, like, it just, I don't know. It's all very weird. I'm just a little worried that because for me, the Disney Plus Marvel stuff so far has been so wonderfully weird, right? And not dumbing itself down to an audience and playing with these tropes and these ideas. And I'm just worried they're just going to chuck all that and go to something standard.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to pivot us right there. Because,
and
I mean,
done.
we could keep talking about this. There's also a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll revisit once we get an update. But first, studios maybe pay the actors what they want and what they deserve, so we can all get back to work.
Yeah,
well, I mean, you know, I'm also not working just because I'm in solidarity.
Same here.
I haven't taught class in 5 months. I may not be hired anymore.
Josh just sits there in the middle of the classroom. Tell me what your favorite movie is for the actors. Okay. All right. So for the next part, we're gonna watch something insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel in the 90s,
yeah. Do you want to go back to this Marvel? Huh?
Oh my
fantastic.
So weird. Oh
Generation
man.
X TV movie.
With everyone's favorite Max Headroom.
Hey, I love me some Matt Frewer.
I do too, actually, and he was wasted in this.
Yeah, he was. I mean, if you want to see him as a bad guy, I mean, The Stand, the original TV Stand.
Oh,
he was so good as Trash Can Man. One of my
God, I hadn't thought about that in ages.
So
anyway,
if Clay's posters didn't give it away, we're gonna watch a very short trailer of the Generation X 1996 TV film. This is so when people complain about Marvel putting so many things out that are not as good, this is what we in the 90s were working with. So let's check it out.
Oh,
audio.
There's no audio.
I can hear it. So fuck you guys.
This is what TV in the 90s was like.
Yeah. You just
have to watch it with the volume off because your parents were sleeping in the other room.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me try that again.
You gotta hit the kid in the back of the head to go turn up the volume on the
That was the remote.
The antenna. Come on.
While Danny's trying to figure this out, did you guys watch the Trial of the Incredible Hulk with that version of Daredevil?
Yep.
That is the Daredevil I want to see come back. That Wilson Fisk.
I would love to see Rex Smith and Nicholas Hammond team up and be in a multiverse movie.
Yeah. Did you know I had to put this together? Nicholas Hammond is the manager of the hotel in The Shining.
Really?
Is it? I think that's him. I'll look it up. Hang on.
I'll also say the Gen X stuff, Generation X, took me down a weird rabbit hole of looking up Mutant X. And I forget what the other one was. The Outsiders, just a bunch of like
90s TV movies.
90s TV, yeah. Kids with powers, whatever.
Oh, I might be wrong. Hang on. I'm going to Nicholas Hammond.
I feel like just told me
Nicholas Hammond was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Hang on.
Josh killed me with his machine gun.
I'm sorry. Shit. Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's funny if I make a bit out of it.
It is. It's true. I didn't realize this one is so loud, but okay. No, I'm wrong. Ignore everything I just said.
I like to think of Josh as tap dancing.
Why don't we have a gif of Tobias crying in the shower when Josh is wrong?
Yeah, exactly. We should.
That'd be 90% gif of the show. All right.
Here we go.
All right, let's do it.
I hope that 3 or 4 minutes that we spent on this nonsense was because this is a 30-second clip. So here goes.
Tonight's Fox presents a world premiere motion picture from the creators of the hit comic book series The X-Men comes Generation X. They've got the power. They've got the technology. They're the new generation of superheroes.
God, this isn't like in 240p.
Yeah.
To save the world. You can't win. I need some help here, God! Get ready for Generation X on the Fox Tuesday night movie.
So what's the movie? You can watch. So if anybody wants to watch the movie, it's on YouTube. You can watch it on. Just type in Generation X movies, like an hour and a half, I think. What's the movie about?
It is the coming together. So it's Banshee and White Queen, who I got to say, Banshee's accent's pretty great in this. Come together and are getting these kids to come to the school. To there's no Professor X. It's just they're going to train them, and so it's a little further in the book of Generation X. When White Queen starts to come around to being a good person. But they don't really do her up like she is in the comic. She isn't wearing bikinis and stuff, but they do put her in the white costume, just fully covered. And the actress that plays her is from a lot of soap operas. Most of the actors, the kids, I don't know who they are. I think a lot of them are first-time actors, but again, like now they're probably in their 40s.
Well, and it was supposed to be a pilot, right? Like it was going to lead into a TV series.
But it was really bad. It was shot with like you see in the preview a lot of is it Dutch angles where they're shooting the camera sideways like that? It very much reminiscent. Well, I say reminiscent is of Batman and Robin or when Schumacher was doing it, because he would use that a lot.
Weirdly, the CGI in that is just as good as the one in the Flash movie that just came out last year.
That was by design.
I were like, make it look like Generation X from 1996.
I was also thinking of it just left me. I mean,
it had a $4 million budget.
Wow.
It does not come across on the screen.
I mean, with inflation, yeah, that feels like cool.
It's our first live action Jubilee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but not
played
our
by
last.
Heather McComb. Who is now 46.
Wow. We're almost the same age.
And was married to James Vanderbeek.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just looking at some of these actors and just like, I don't know what they went on to do because
it looks like from what I saw, no one really went on to do like anything big, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I see some movies, like I see the guy that played Mondo. He did a couple of movies and a lot of TV. He's 49 now. So, yeah, I mean.
Just making me feel old, Clay.
Well, I mean, they're Generation X. They're our age.
Yeah, true. It's funny.
Well, that's not why the movie's called that. I just want to clarify.
I know, but at the time, during the 90s when X-Men realized, we could do more than just Uncanny X-Men. And then we got like a dozen X books that had X in the title somewhere.
Right.
More of these.
X-Force, X-Factor. And then Scott Lobdell was like, well, we have a whole generation called Gen X. What if we just made a team of those guys? And so him and Scott Lobdell and Chris Bocciolo do the Gen X book. And I dug the art. I was a fan of the book. It was the new Mutants.
Yeah. The thing sorry, Danny, go ahead.
No, I want to wrap up the show, but you just go ahead and no,
it's fine. We can wrap up.
Okay.
It's fine.
So I do want to go into recommendations, but before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to friend of the show and my buddy Mike Rappin. Happy birthday, Mike.
Hey.
I know you're not watching because you're about to record the I Read Comic Books podcast show, but I'll send you this clip anyways. So happy birthday from everyone here. Jeff hasn't met Mike, but maybe in the future we'll have you back on and do so much fun stuff. Go check out the Batman and movie episode where Mike was one of our guests, and a pretty good one. I really like that conversation. So Now let's go into recommendations. Now, Josh, I'll throw it back to you since you were the last one to speak.
Sure. I have. It's actually just here on my desk. This book finally came out. I've been waiting for, called "Monsters, Aliens, and Holes in the Ground" by Stu Horvath. It's an interesting book. It's kind of a history of tabletop role-playing games by decade. And it's kind of a coffee table art book. And the reason why is because Stu Horvath founded a really great kind of cultural journal called Unwinnable. And then he also started many years ago, he's an avid role-playing game collector. He started an Instagram feed just called Vintage RPG. And this book spun out of that Instagram feed. So everything in this is basically his. All the photographs are of the things that he owns. And it just goes decade. It starts in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, up through the 2010s. And it's just, kind of like the role-playing game is an industry, but also what they've been releasing and producing. And then his own kind of specific historical research and take on it. It's a fun book. I've read many histories of role-playing games, so I really didn't need another one. But I really wanted this one because it kind of, again, it's like his feed. So anyway, yeah.
Okay. Jeff, what do you got? What are you recommending?
I know there's a edition coming out soon for Christmas, but I'm going to show this hip hop family tree. I've got
love it.
Both these treasury editions.
Oh,
here.
wow. So great. I love Ed Piskor.
Yeah, these are by Ed Piskor. They are just a graphic history of hip hop. Anyway, there. Now that I'm big. Nope. Okay, don't worry about it.
You guys can tell we're really good at this.
Yeah. Anyway, I know that he's been plugging on his own channel that they're coming out with a new version. I'm not going to get the new version because I have these treasury editions, and I don't like double dipping. But they're fantastic. I think I still have like the last book to read, but I think it's great. Also, I pointed out in the chat, and I would like to make mention that this week, October 18th, is the anniversary of when they killed off Jason Todd in the comics. R.I.P. Jason.
Has anyone tried calling that 900 number recently? Like, I'm just curious if it's still up.
We could bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, it'd be like, should Josh on the podcast live or die? Call this 900 number.
How much is it to get a 900 number?
Yeah, true.
Join the Patreon. We'll get a 900 number.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Fresh ideas. I love it. Calais, what do you got for us?
I gushed over it a lot. Kelly Thompson's new book, The Cull. That's my recommendation, and I absolutely love that, and I'm excited to see where it goes. As far as a movie, I'm going to drop No One Will Save You and just say go in blind. It is a great movie, and you corrected me. You said it's on Hulu.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Editor's notes. Nice. All right. Well, I'm going to recommend something I haven't read, but I know it's going to be fucking fantastic. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong #1.
Yeah.
Coming out. So I'm actually going to probably go read that after this to work on the review. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. And of course, there's like a million variant covers because if you have Godzilla and King Kong, you're going to use them.
Did you order the Roar covers?
I did.
Yeah.
They're going to make noise. I hope they're good because they're $15 each, and there's one for Godzilla.
I remember that.
There's one for Godzilla.
I'm hoping the same thing. If they don't have that Godzilla roar, I'm gonna be so mad.
But I did order those, so we'll let you guys know next time we're around. Blank cover, of course. We have what is this? Raphael Albuquerque. This one's really cool. I don't know why.
Nice.
So this is the one that's gonna make the sound.
That's the sound. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then this is the Kong one that's going to make the sound. And then, of course, this is Dan Mora. Oh, man, I wish I was in New York so I could meet him. There's so many people that travel so far.
Again, wait, go back one or two now, I guess. Again, DC, for fuck's sake, release these as posters. I will buy it and frame it. I don't understand why you don't do this. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, because you guys don't get a lot of these in poster form, right, Jeff? Like,
no,
no. Even for like promotion, it's very sparse. It's like usually just the main cover. I think this is a wraparound, but I don't know why the whole thing isn't there. I'm sure there's
That's amazing. I love it. Who is that?
This is the main cover, so this is probably by Drew Johnson.
Okay.
Is that the wraparound or is it the connected cover?
I guess it could be selling you too. Yeah, I'm not sure. It should be. I would hope that it's a wraparound.
I'd love to see the Daily Planet in the middle of that.
Yeah. Maybe we'll tweet it out if I find it. So yeah, that's it. It's gonna be. I don't even care what the premise is.
They have dinner.
Oh man,
they go to the Eras tour.
They hang out with Loki and Brie Larson on Skull Island.
Nice. I'm here for all of it. That sounds.
I know that the strikes are going on, but if you want to see Brie Larson on your TV, there might be something new that it's really fucking good.
It looks really good. Yeah.
We may have a review coming out for that later on today, so stay tuned for that. But that's it. That's all we have for today. This was a lot of fun. If there's anything breaking out of New York Comic Con, then maybe we'll make a separate video on it. But very excited. So, do you guys have anything else before we close out?
You can no longer buy 900 numbers. They terminated them in 2012.
Oh.
And soon you won't be able to buy physical media at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what a bummer.
But Netflix is opening up a brick and mortar store. So
yeah, I know. None of this makes sense.
I want to see it though. I mean,
but what are they going to sell? I don't.
I've been to one of the Amazon stores. The one in.
Oh really? The self checkout ones.
Yeah, this one had cash registers, but what's the place called next to Washington D.C. with the university? Georgetown. Yeah, there's one in Georgetown that I got to go when I went for work. So that was a long time ago. I bought some pops, which I could have ordered online, I guess, but they turned out to be chases. So, anyways, the dogs are ready to go.
They're ready to go. They've been wanting to eat for like half an hour, and I've been trying.
Me too. I'm hungry. I don't know when you guys left, and this is a little behind the show. If y'all went to go to the restroom, y'all made me want to go to the restroom. That's what happened. That's what happened when I stepped that away, because I was like, oh, now I got to feel great. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks.
Say goodbye, Luna.
The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here. Right now. Salute, mi familia. Salute.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Luna loves you.
Oh, yeah. Clay?
Hell, Bebo.
Josh, Simon Center, get the fuck out.